Alright, in this video we'll see how to create a plugin that will give an instruction to all the logged in user. This way, you'll see a dashboard widget that instructs the logged in user saying that instruction: do not install any plugin without prior information. Now this information can be set with the help of the page we have created. You have to get into the settings. This is the top level menu, and there is a sub menu. If you click on it, you will find a custom page which we will be using the settings API and the options API in the WordPress. So we won't be using the raw HTML. We'll be using setting API to set this text. Now, to create this field, once we set any type of message, let's say do not update any plugin without permission. I have made install to update. If I click save changes, and these changes will be reflected once someone logs in and looks at the dashboard, and the dashboard message shows up. So we'll see how to do two things. The first thing is we'll be using setting API, and the second thing is how to display the dashboard widget over here. And just to give you a intro about setting API, you just need to understand how the setting API work. For that, this diagram would help. So now this form is actually a HTML form, and inside the form we need to create a section. This section is created with the help of WordPress helper function. The same way, inside section we need to create a group, and inside group there would be multiple fields. In this case, we'll just have one input field. I hope this is clear. You can take a screenshot of it, and we would be creating individual function for creating section, for creating group, for creating fields, and those would be linked as displayed over here. This field would be linked to the section which we are creating. Since these are independent function, these would be linked. This field is linked to the settings page, sections page, and this section is defined to the page URL, or you can see the slug. So this group is responsible for creating the option. So these option can be found in the database with the table called WP option. So we would be using the WP option, or you can say option API and setting API. They would provide you a getter and setter function. We'll see how to use it. I'll just want to show you where the message is actually stored. So this is the default WordPress table where we are going to store our custom message. So let me just expand this to 500, and you would see the message which we have created would get stored somewhere over here, and it's over here saying that do not update any plugin without prior permission, and this information would be fetched and displayed over here in the dashboard widget. I hope that is clear. Let's get into the code. So now for the first thing, what we have to do is we have to get into the plugins folder in your current website. This is my local setup WordPress folder, and inside the WordPress folder we have WP content. Inside WP content we have plugins. Inside plugins we need to create a custom plugin. Let me just name it as notice board, and inside the notice board I have just opened these into the Visual Studio Code. Now you can see open notice board has appeared over here. Now I need to create a file inside it and call it as noticeboard.php. It's recommended to have the same name as your folder name. Now what we need to do is we need to show our plugin in this particular page. So for that we need to fill some metadata. These metadata will be in the form of PHP comment. Let's do that. So here we can give the plugin name, we can give the plugin description, the version of the plugin, and the author who is creating it, and that's enough to show your plugin in this particular page. We have notice board, we have named it as admin notice board. So what we need now, we need to create a sub menu over here under the settings page. For that we have a hook called admin menu. So inside admin menu we have a function, and that function is actually responsible for creating the sub menu. So if it's a top level menu, what you see here, these are top level menu. For that we'll be using add menu page. Since it's sub menu, we'll be using sub option page, and that sub menu should be inside the settings page. So for that we have a relevant function, and this is the page title, and this is the menu title. So you see, once I hover it, you should see here its welcome message, and you will be seeing notice board. and this is for the author, what he need to do. So in this case we'll be managing the option API, so that's the reason we are using the manage option. And inside that we have a slug. So this slug is actually the menu. Once I click on it, you'll see the slug changes to something like this one, what you see here, welcome message setting. So for this we have this notice board setting slug, and this is a callback function. When I click on it, what should happen? So let me just create that, and let me just have a simple echo saying that hello, sorry for the typo. And now if I refresh, we have to make the plugin active first. If I make this active, you should see a sub menu on the settings main menu. Once I click on it, you'll see hello. Now over here we need to create, as said, the function that would be independent. So for the first function need to be section. To create section, we just like the function that we have for the option page, we need to create a function for the setting creation. Simply, this is the unique ID for this section, and this is a title. So what you see here, let me just open the other plugin so that we can compare what we are doing. So this would be over here, what you see here, and then the callback function, and the callback function is for the paragraph which is displayed just below the title. So we need to create a function, and let me just echo this, an additional information. And then the page slug, we are linking our section to the slug. As said, these are independent function, we need to link them. The section is linked to the current slug. The slug we have defined over here, you see it's getting highlighted. Now we need to create a group. So in the group we would be mentioning the group as well as the option key. So you can see this key we need to define. So just below here we would be setting the option group and the text that would be stored as a key in the option table. And after that we need to create a field that will have the slug as well as the section ID. So you can see in the section, you can see we have given the first ID, we need to link that as well. So over here we need the input field as well. So we'll create input type text. It's similar to what we have done already. Add setting field is the function that will help you to create input field. Now this is the ID, the key value which will be stored in the option table, and then this is the label. You see this is a label, this is coming from this parameter, and then we have a function that to get and update the option table, WordPress gives you a function get option and update option. Now we need to fetch the value which is actually stored in this particular key, and if nothing is set, I want it to be blank. So we are giving a fallback. If nothing is there, this one will be loaded, which is nothing, which is now this value will be inside the value attribute of the input field. And now we have to link these settings field into a HTML. So where over here we have just echoed something, and these function which we have created, section, the group and the field, should be inside another hook. So that hook would be admin init. So admin init will have that. Now when I click on a page, I want a HTML to load up. So for that we'll create a form, and over here what we need is, we will create a form, we need to call the group, and we need to call the setting, and there would be a submit button, and this is enough to show a form in this particular page. Now you see dashboard, notice the page title. So this is the page title. dashboard notice, which we have defined in the option page, and this is the title for the section. Now that's enough. If there is no data, then the value would be nothing. Or if you want something, you can just simply make this reflex, and there the data would show. So let there be blank, and let's give an instruction. Hello admins, this is super admin message, and if I click save change, you should find the value with the value key where we have given it on the settings field that you would find on the page, on the table, and see it has been populated properly. Now we need to fetch this key value and display it into the admin dashboard widget. So for that we have a hook, which is WP dashboard setup. When there is this hook calls, I want a function, and that function, just as we have added the menu page, just as we added the section, the group, the input field, we have another function, WP underscore add underscore dashboard underscore widget. We need to give the slug for the widget, and we need to give the title, and then display the title. As I said, since we are using option API, we need to get the value. If there is no any value, then this would be displayed, and we will be storing it into the value, and the value would be stored in the option table and with the help of key value pair. And to access the value, we need to pass the key, which is this. With the help of get option, we will have it as a fallback. If there is no data, this would be displayed, and there we are storing it into a PHP variable, and we are creating a HTML with font size 16 pixel, and I'm displaying the message, and that's it. Now with the help of the add dashboard widget, you would see a custom message on the home page. Admin notice, hello admin, this is super admin message, and that's it. The scope of this video is done. This is short, and I don't want to make it long. The focus of this video was to understand how settings API work. So it is recommended to create setting API because it takes care of the cross browser request CSRF token, which in WordPress term it's called nonce, and other, which is sanitizing, it takes care of internally. We don't have to worry about it. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening.